Hey guys, today we're going to spend some time going over the homework that was assigned back in the beginning. This is section 1.0, and this is the vocabulary of points, lines, and planes. So I thought it'd be worthwhile to go over this since we don't have a whole lot of time in class. This way, hopefully this answers any questions you may have had that I didn't get to. So we're going to just go through this and let me know in class or email or Google Classroom if you have any questions on this. Okay, so we're going to just go through this and match it up. So let's see, our 8 choices are ray, plane, angle, point, line, collinear, line segment, and coplanar. First one, this is a geometric object with no dimensions. It is only a location. That's the key word, location. That is going to be point. Okay. This is a collection of points along a straight path. It has no endpoints. Okay, so straight path, collection of points, no endpoints. That is line. This describes points that lie on the same line. That is going to be collinear. If you have a hard time remembering that, just remember linear, line. It kind of does it. This geometric object is a flat surface that extends endlessly in all directions. That's going to be plane. And this describes points that lie on the same plane. That's going to be coplanar. So coplanar and collinear are pretty similar sounding. Plane, planar, line, linear. Okay. This is a part of a line that has 2 endpoints. It's going to be a line segment. Excuse me. This is the part of a line that only has 1 endpoint. That's going to be ray. And then this geometric object is formed from 2 rays with a common endpoint. That's going to be angle. Okay. So those are the answers for the first 8. Now down here, this is going to be point. This would be angle. This would be line. This would be ray. Now this one's, people had a hard time with this one. This would be considered collinear. These are collinear, this is not, so collinear. That one's a little confusing. Again, this is actually, these two folks made some mistakes on this one, but I can understand why it's a little confusing. This would be coplanar, because these points are considered to be coplanar. And this would be line segment. And this would be plane. And planes are usually represented by a parallelogram. Okay, so that is the first. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit so you can see the whole thing. That's the first exercise we did. And let's take a look at this one. So we have identify lines, line segments, and rays. Now there's actually a bunch of these that have different answers, so I'll give as many as I can. So it's asking us to, and these 3 examples kind of walk you through it, but we're not going to do that right now. So they give us this example here. Let's zoom in here. This is obviously a line. These 3 points are on the line. And it's asking us to give 3 names for this line. So you just need 2 points to name a line that are on it. So PQ would work. And let's remember to use the proper notation. So you have a little kind of mini line above it. So PQ. We also have QR. And we also have PR. Now don't forget, you can actually change this. You can actually reverse the order. So it could also be QP. And RQ. And RP. Okay. Right here, name 3 rays. Okay, so this is a ray, Q to R. This is a ray, P to R. And we also have Q to P. Let's see, we also have R to Q. RQ is actually going to be the same thing as RP, so it's going the same direction. Do we have QP? We do. Yeah, we should have 4 of them. Okay, cool. Name 3 line segments. Well, PQ is right there. Right. QR is right there. And we also have PR. And pay attention to the notation here. That's the line symbol, right? This is the ray symbol, and this is the line segment symbol. And don't forget, you can also reverse the order of these letters. So QP, RQ, and RP. Okay. Down here, same deal. So name, give 3 names to this line. I'm not going to do all of them. I'll just do 3. So MN, right? Because 2 points are on the line, you can use it to identify a line. NO, line no, and MO. And again, remember you can reverse the order of those letters. Name 3 rays. So MN, okay, MO, and then you have NO. Name 3 line segments, same deal. So MN and NO and MO. And again, you can reverse the letters if you want to. So that concludes these exercises. Okay. Let's take a look at this one. Identify objects in a plane. So they give you this fairly complicated diagram here. There's a lot going on here, so I wouldn't be surprised if this gave us some trouble. You have a plane, and you have what looks like a right rectangular prism whose topmost face is included in this plane. There's a lot going on here. There's some notation here, so yeah, we have a lot to digest here. Name 2 points that are coplanar to point P. So let's look at point P. Point P is right here. So point P is on this big plane here, right? It's also part of this topmost face of this right rectangular prism. So we're looking for 2 points that are on the same plane. So any of these right here, any of these are on the plane. So M, Q, R, N, all of them would be considered coplanar. So I'm actually going to list all of them. So N, R, Q, excuse me, and M. Name a point that is not coplanar to point P. So these two down here, those are not in the same plane, so X or S. Okay. Name a line that is coplanar to Rn. So Rn is here. So this is coplanar because they share this plane here. Can you see that? Yeah, okay. And then all these lines up top that are on this plane are considered coplanar. So the only two, there are 2 that I see that are not coplanar, that have points. This is non-coplanar to Rn, and this is non-coplanar because they're part of this frontmost face. This line is contained in this plane on the side and the top plane, not the side one. R is on it, but not the whole line. So we can either go with QX, right, or RS. And I know right here the line's not extending. This is a line segment, but we're going to call that a line, because why not? Name a line that is not coplanar to Rn. Oh, did I screw that up? I did screw that up. I apologize. That actually should be down here. I misread that. So lines that are coplanar. This should actually be down here. So this is the one that is not coplanar. So QX and XS. QX is not coplanar. XS is not coplanar. I went too fast. Look at that. And RS is not no, RS is coplanar. Okay. Yeah. All right. So XS and QX. Okay. Way to go, Mr. Edwards. All right. So these 2 are not coplanar, here and here. Okay. RS actually would be because it's part of that frontmost plane. I'm trying to go way too fast. Okay. Name a line that is coplanar to Rn. Well, this would be coplanar. So RS does belong there because it's coplanar. QR, because it's part of that topmost plane. So QR would be considered coplanar. QP would be as well. And PN would also be coplanar. PN. Okay, there we go. Name all the points that are coplanar to point M. So basically anything up top would be, anything up top would be part of that plane. So really all the letters here, so PN, R, and Q. And that's it. Yep, for that. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot going on there. There's a lot to look at. So I apologize for the confusion on numbers 3 and 4. Let's look at these. So this is another fairly in-depth picture here. So we have name a point that is not, first of all, let's actually take a look at this. So we have a big plane here. We have it looks like a quadrilateral inside of it, and you got some other stuff going on here. You got lines coming out of it. You got a point that's not coplanar. You can hear the kid freaking out outside. Name a point that is not coplanar to point L. So here's point L. All these are on the same plane. So these are all coplanar, so those would not work. These, however, are not. So A or B. Name a line that is coplanar to FE. So FE is here, so any line that's on the same plane. So GF would work. And GD, we're going to call that a line. It's a line segment, whatever. DE, same deal. And that's it. Yeah, just those 3. Because this whole line is not contained in it. It just looks like it's going through at D. Name a line that is not coplanar to FE. So either one of these. So we're going to say AG or AD. Name 2 points that are coplanar to point C. So any of these. So it can be L, G, F, E, D. Name two line segments that are coplanar to ED. So ED is here. So line segments. So simply GD, right? We're going to change that to line segment. GF. And I know GF is a line, but you can also say GF is still a line segment. There's nothing wrong with that. Right? And then FE as well. Okay. And that would be all the possible solutions for that. Okay, so that was probably the hardest one so far. This is definitely the most going on. And we have, let's see, how much we got left? Almost done. Got a little bit here. So we have points, lines, and planes 1. And we're going to go ahead and answer these. So we have a plane here. We have some questions here. Name a line that contains point D. So this is the line that contains point D, so we can call that DC. Or we could call it line P. Same thing. Name a point contained in line N, so it's going to be either one of these, so A or B. What is the name for line P? Well, call it DC. Or you can call it CD. I'm pretty sure you guys can hear that kid. He's like freaking out. I wonder if it's the same one from yesterday. Probably is. Name the plane containing lines N and line P. Sorry, this looks like a little bit of a typo there. Name the plane containing line N and line P. So this plane here, we can call that plane G. Or you can call it a plane and then use 3 non-collinear points. So I could say C, D, and B. Or I could say, you know, A, B, and C, or A, B, and D. The point is you're going to use 3 of these that are not all on the same line. Okay? How many? Oh, and let's go down here. Okay, the next one. This is interesting. Look at that. Triangular prism. How many planes are shown in the figure? So, we have this plane. Okay? We also have planes in this figure here. So, okay. I could see where some folks would get confused. So we have plane ABC, this like triangular plane, but it's actually part of the larger plane. We're not going to count that separately, but we are going to count these 3 faces that are going vertical, as well as this topmost face. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 planes. That's what we're going with. If you said 6, I'd probably give you credit, even though it's kind of iffy because that 6th plane is really not a plane. Well, it is, but it's the same plane as the bottom one. Yeah. Anyway. How many of the planes contain point F and E? So both F and E are here and here. So this plane contains both. This plane contains both. So 2 planes. Name 4 planes that are. Name 4 planes. Name 4 points that are coplanar. Well, we have a few different options. We have these 4 and we have these 4. So F, E, A, and B are part of that plane. F, E, A, and B. And we also have E, D, C, and B. E, D, C, and B. Are points A, B, and C coplanar? Oh, you can't see that. Are points A, B, and C coplanar? Yes, they are. They're part of that plane down there. Yes, they are part. They are part of plane W. And plane W is that weird italicized letter. Okay, and that's that. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit so you can see the whole thing. Okay, and then the last one. Okay, here we go. So it's actually part of the same sheet. So we zoom in a little bit. Name a line that contains point T and P. So it's this plane here. Name a line. So we'll call it PT, I guess. That's easy. We could also call it TP or PN or NP or even line G. There's a whole bunch of different answers for that. Name a plane that contains TN and QR. So it's this plane here. We're going to call that plane S. You can also call it any combination of 3 non-collinear points that are on the plane, so we could call it plane PTR. And there's a whole bunch of other options as well. Name a line that intersects the plane containing points Q, N, and P. Q, N, and P. Name a line that intersects the plane. Okay, so the line that I misread the way it's. I thought these were the points on the line. So this is actually describing the points on the plane. A little confusing. So what's the line that intersects this plane? Well, it'd be line J. You could also call it line MT, because those are 2 points that are on the line, or line TM. Last one. Here we go. How many planes are shown in the figure? Okay, so we have the big plane on the bottom. Again, we're going to count that as part of it. Then we have these 4 faces on the outside, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 on the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 6 total, 6 planes. Name 3 collinear points. For this one, I think it actually has to be these 3. Yeah, it is. Those are the only, yep, those are the only 3 that are all collinear. So M, X, and S. Our points N, R, S, and W coplanar. So N, R, S, W. So N, R, and S are coplanar. W is coplanar to S and N, but not R. So no, they're not. Because you can see this is part of that side, that like lateral one over here. And it's sharing this front plane with N, and it's sharing the lateral plane with S, but it's not sharing a plane with R. So that is it. So I just went through all of the worksheets that we had for section 1.0. I hope that answered any questions you had. And if you still have any questions of the vocabulary or the exercises regarding them, please let me know, and I'll answer those questions. All right, thanks, guys.